Hey everybody! So I'm in my Ford F150 Powerboost. I figured I'd make this little video just talking about what I think of my Powerboost so far. So I got this truck around April 15th. It's actually running right now. The AC is running. It's cool on the inside, and you hear that noise. That's not the motor running, that's just the electric part. And just to prove it, there is no noise from the muffler. So that's one of the cool things of hybrid vehicles. I have two of them. I have a RAV4 hybrid, which I bought in 2021. So inside it's got all kinds of gadgets and bells and whistles and bunch of driver assistance stuff, which mostly I disable, but it's got a bunch of things. It's got a towing package, which has a bunch of things there, active towing things. This is a cool feature I really like. Zone lighting. I can literally turn on lights on one side of the vehicle, on the front. Can't see it now because it's bright outside, but or on the back. But if I'm working on this side, what's really cool is it'll light. There's this light on the floor here would be on, and then there'll be another light here off the side of the mirror, so you can use this to work outside at night. It's pretty cool. A smart hitch. Tell me exactly what kind of hitch I've got, gooseneck or different types. Onboard scales. This gives you an idea how much load you have on the back. In the truck as well, I guess. If I just move up and down, you can see I can get this thing up. The engine just started. And then my favorite feature, and the main reason I bought this truck, Pro onboard power. So it has a whole bunch of AC plugs. This one here, 20 amp 120 volt AC. In the back here it has two 3600 watt inverters at 120 volts each, and then you can hook them up in series to get you 240 volts. And so you got 240 volts, 30 amp plug back there. Got four 15 amp outlets, two from each inverter, and then I've got this 30 amp plug here. So I can basically power my entire house from this truck. So it can give you a full 7200 watts, but that's a continuous 7200 watts. It's not like a peak 7200. That's the continuous rating of this thing. It'll run 7200 watts all day long. So that's really nice feature. I've used it so far for, building the fence that you can see over here, all that fence. And what I used it for mainly was the top part of the fence here. The other thing I used it for is sawing my firewood. is where I do my firewood here. I pile it here in 3-foot lengths, and then I got this jig that I made. This is just made out of old pipes from a shelter logic, and I just welded it together, and I put a piece of wood on top, and then I can just stack this on top, and I bring my F150 hybrid here on the side, and it powers my electric chainsaw. I run the extension cord across the road, and I chop up my firewood here with the electric chainsaw. And I can cut all day long, pretty much anywhere on my land, within 50 feet or 100 feet of the road that goes through my land. So and that's pretty good, because most times I got to take my tractor in the woods and bring the wood out to the main road anyways. So I'll fill the forks, take a load out, and I'll just put it on the side of the road, and then the sun will hit it and it'll dry a little bit faster. Well, it shows the power flow here on this screen, and so right now it's showing that it's leaving the battery, going onto the wheels. The RAV4 has a much better system than this, I find, because the RAV4 actually shows you how much charge your battery has. And the Ford, unless there's a feature I haven't seen so far, I haven't seen where it tells you how much charge is in your battery. Whereas the RAV4, you know at any time how much charge you have in your battery. Beautiful view here.
Okay. It's a gorgeous spot here.
Following this lake. We love this little drive, Jill and I.
Yep.
Let's see, what am I at for mileage here? So I'm at 6.7 right now, liters per 100. It'll climb a little bit because my motor's back on. I'm gonna see how much electric driving I can make on this trip here.
You're back.
So my challenge, I'm challenging myself here without going too slow. I want to see how much electric driving I can do on this trip, well, percentage wise.
The speed limit is only 50 kilometers an hour on this road, so
I'm going 65 now. So I'm pulsing. I'm gonna start gliding. It's kicking on the electric, and oh, I gotta stop in front here. Something's in my way.
Propane.
Oh,
truck.
the braking. The way the braking works is it gives you a green bar, and what you want to do is you want to stay within that green bar so that you capture all of your braking force. If you can at all plan your braking, you can recuperate 100% of the energy from slowing down the vehicle. So the electric motor will charge your battery while you're braking. And I've been on electric for a little while now. This has been pretty good. A little bit here.
Another view of the lake. For those of you who have not been to Nova Scotia, we are primarily a province of lakes. If you look at the Google map for Nova Scotia, it's a little bit of land dotted by a gajillion lakes.
And rocks.
And lots of rocks.
So still averaging 6.7 liters per 100.
It was a good trip.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna pause you for now.
Rural road, like I was driving, you can average between 30 and 50% on electric driving mode, and then you can get your fuel efficiency in between 7 and 8 liters per 100. So, and then on the highway, I typically do about 10 and a half, 11, depending how many hills there are. If there's no hills, it'll do about 9 liters per 100. So. So if you're thinking that when you get a hybrid vehicle that you're automatically going to get gas mileage, think again. This is something that you have to want to do. You have to have wants to change your driving habits if you buy a hybrid. If you buy a hybrid and you're like you have a heavy foot and you just like to take off really fast at the stoplights, and you know, you're not willing to compromise your driving habits, you're wasting your money buying a hybrid. A hybrid vehicle, the fuel efficiency that you get is basically 100% dependent on the driver of the vehicle. If you have a driver that is very conscientious and is trying to extend his gas mileage, then you'll be able to do that. I have this little assist. It's a bar graph, so the more you press on the gas, the more it'll fill that bar. And if you take your time here, it'll stay in that electric mode for a fairly long time. Let's see. So the technique I use is called pulse and glide. So right now I'm going to pulse. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. The speed limit here is 50. So I'm going to speed up a little bit here. Get myself around 60, 65, something like that. And then I'll just glide. When I'm gliding, what it's doing is the engine. So this is the engine. You can see this bar graph here. It's showing right now I'm consuming over 10 liters per 100 because it's charging the battery. So even if I let go of the gas, oh, now it's back on electric.
It's really hard to video. It's very rocky. I'm sorry, people.
And what happens here is it'll stay on electric as long as the right part of the bar stays there. And then when it starts decreasing the right part of that bar, whoa, like it's doing now, that means that my battery is empty. Okay? So now I gotta recharge the battery. And my average right now on this trip so far is 7 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's pretty average for driving on one of these roads. I think the lowest I got is 6.6 liters per 100. So it tracks how many kilometers I'm driving and how many I'm driving on electric. So, all right, so I'm at the house. So my fuel economy since I've owned a truck is 10.5 liters per 100. This trip was 13.3 kilometers on electric out of 29 kilometers. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy for a full-size pickup. That's really, really good fuel efficiency. My RAV4 gets a little bit better, but yet again, you know, my RAV4 is a much smaller vehicle. For the size of the vehicle, it has a bigger battery than the Ford F150. If there was a comment I would make to Ford, it would be double the size of your battery. You need a vehicle this size. Currently, it's a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery. I think it should have a 3 kilowatt hour battery, because there are some scenarios where you're coasting along and you can basically charge that battery fully, and then you know, if you had a larger battery, you could get an even better fuel efficiency, I would think. So I could sit in my RAV4 while Jill goes into the grocery store and picks up groceries, and I can sit there for 20 minutes or so running the AC, the radio, and the entire vehicle will just run off the hybrid battery. and then after about 15-20 minutes it'll start up for a couple minutes and then it'll shut down. The Ford F150 does the same thing, but the F150 has a Pro Power 7.2 kilowatt generator, which is, for me, the best feature of this entire truck. I can see so many projects getting built with that. The sawmill I started building a few years ago and made a bunch of videos about, I eventually want to power that thing right from my truck, so I can take that in the woods. It's going to be portable, power it off the truck. And the trucks, the way the truck works on the Pro Power onboard generator is you know, you got this 430 horsepower combined gasoline electric engine, and so when it starts up, it just runs idle, or like 1,000 RPM, and it'll charge up your battery and then it'll shut down. So when it's running very efficiently and it's charging your battery very efficiently. It works out to about just under 4 liters per hour of power consumption if you were running it at 7.2 kilowatt hours. So running a chainsaw, 1,500, right? Probably less than that. So you maybe a seventh of that, right? So it's just a matter of how often the motor starts and how often the engine runs, as a percentage of the 1 hour, right? So, but I would think you're probably burning less than a liter per hour running the chainsaw flat out, you know, full time. So it's pretty cool for that. I have 2 other friends that have the same truck, a year older, and they had problems with their transmission, and both of them actually. So even though I knew about that, I still bought the truck. You know, transmission, if there's issues, it's under warranty. But I think this, I think I might be okay with this one. Ford had a year to kind of fix their stuff, you know, between what they had. So they had the first year of the Powerboost, and I've got the second year. So hopefully I've got those issues are behind, and behind Ford, and I won't have issues with this truck. So, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. The range of this truck it's just baffled me. It's unbelievable. I've never had a vehicle where I could easily travel over 1,000 kilometers, and this vehicle I could do probably close to 1,200 kilometers, depending, you know, if I'm doing some highway and some rural roads. On the highway, you can probably do close to 1,000 kilometers on the tank, and the incredible thing is the truck has so much power. Like I'm not used to. I've had several trucks, but it has so much power that even on the steepest hills, like this truck has a 10-speed transmission. It won't even shift down from 10 speed on a steep hill. It has so much torque. It's got 430 horsepower and 570 foot-pounds of torque. And the way I can remember those numbers is when you add the 2 up, you get 1,000. All right. Hope you enjoy that little video of my Ford Powerboost. Bye for now.